So that's the Cordwood challenge almost over for this year. There's only 1 or 2 days left. This year I managed to cut 3 wicks, mostly dead fir, so it wasn't the funnest. And I would have liked to do more, but you know, there's a lot of work I had to do this year for steel timber sports training, and you know, single bucking, stock sawing, and a lot of the bucking work doesn't really work well for the Cordwood challenge. You know, a lot of the time I'm just cutting notches into a larger log, and some of these larger logs that are good for training on, they're basically impossible to carry, so I can't really add them to the stack. And I'm also training at another place where I'm not really counting the wood either, so in any case it's not really about the quantity you cut, it's more about what you learn from it. And this year in particular I learned how to cut dead softwoods. You know, I've really changed how I grind my axe for it, and to a certain extent technique. But you know, even just getting out for a day and using your axe is worth its weight in gold. Probably the most lining I ever did for the Cordwood challenge was on my first day, and since then it's just been, you know, slowly learning more and more. So to anyone who started and didn't finish, or only got out for a day or two, you know, good on you for actually giving it a go. And next year I'm going to be running the challenge again as well, so if you want to take it further you can. So the challenge ends on the 15th, so if you could send me an email with your pictures, a link to a video, and or just small videos as well, anything you want me to include in the final year summary where I talk about who completed it and how much wood they cut and all this, and anything like that, just include it in an email. I've got a lot of people I know of, so it's hard to keep track of them all, and if I just can get an email, it will help, you know, keep it all in one place so I don't forget anyone and leave them out, which would be a real shame. Also, if you send me a link to a video, and maybe it's a 10-minute, 20-minute, if you right-click on your video and then copy video URL at the time, and then just copy it at the time of the clip you want me to really include. You know, I'd try and aim for like no more than a minute to 30 seconds for each person, because I'm pretty aware of a few people doing it this year, so I don't want to make, you know, 2-hour-long videos. I mean, I could, but you know, just if you're trying to keep it easy for me, because I'm going to have a lot of editing to do. So I'll probably get the editing done maybe by the 10th of January latest. I'm quite busy over this Christmas. I'm in my final year of university, and I've got a big project to hand in, so that's obviously going to be the priority. And I'll probably include this year's summary and also the rules for next year in the same video, and just keep it all in one place. And yeah, for next year I'm thinking exact same rules. They seem to have worked very well, and they're much more flexible and easier for people to get involved with. So I won't change anything in that regard unless I get some feedback that says otherwise. So just assume same rules for next year. So if you want to start on the 1st of January, no problem. In any case, it's great to see people out using their axes. I think it's really what the community needs. It's became quite stagnant. I mean, for every one post of axes, there's about 500 of just collector shots. You know, there's certainly value in preserving old axes that are in very, very good condition, and you know, keeping them for the future. But certainly I think what's more important is keeping the axmanship alive and the skill to use the tools for felling and all this, because I think that's where the most knowledge has been lost. Apart from timber sports, really, there isn't very much serious axe use going on, especially in the Western world. I know in the third world there's quite a lot of axe use, but you know, there's a lot of knowledge being lost, and you can see that with the a lot of videos of people trying to use their axes, and they're either doing something quite dangerous or just incredibly inefficient. You know, they've not got any cutting pattern. They're chipping it out like a beaver, and it's a far cry from, you know, the standards of old when people work professionally. And I think it's worth keeping the techniques alive. It's also worth getting out and using axes because it's great for debunking law. You know, there's a lot of law that goes on around the axes, and it's, you know, really based off misinformation or just half-truths, and I think it's great for debunking that. It's one of the things I enjoy the most, is taking something like an axe with no pole and seeing if it actually has any effect on my chopping. So thanks to everyone who took part, and I'm looking forward to hearing and seeing how you got on and what you learned, and you know, maybe there's some interesting stuff you could share. So anyway, hope everyone has a good Christmas and New Year, and I'll see you in the next year. Hopefully we'll get even more people joining and more woodcut.